Hi Niall, how are you doing?
Tell us your story, Lee.
Well, I was just listening to your show earlier there, and I was listening to Dr. Breslin, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get over how this doctor could say that the vaccine is safe and effective without having investigated any of the now 400 Irish girls that are suffering. And I can just, say for myself, I said, like, at the time that when we received this vaccination, we were dealing with a loss of a loved one due to cancer. And I received the HSE material, and I spoke to my GP, who told me it was the best thing I could do for my daughter. And I trusted the information I was given, especially coming from the HSE and my GP. So I can just tell you a little bit about what happened, I suppose.
Now, your daughter got the vaccine 5 years ago, Lee, is that right?
5 years ago, in 2011, she received all 3 vaccines within 5 months.
Okay, and she's had problems since that, has she?
She's suffered several adverse side effects, which are all listed on the manufacturer patient information leaflet. She was a perfectly healthy teenager before the vaccine. She now she's been seen by numerous consultants, her GP. She's been admitted to hospital on many occasions. She's had MRIs, X-rays, CAT scans, lumbar punctures, and just been through the mill of it, really, And the worst part probably about it all is that she was even laughed at by some consultants, and it was told that it was all in her head. And I can tell you firstly that these symptoms, they're not in their head.
Yeah.
We first noticed this a little bit after she received the second vaccine. She started to get a flu-like symptoms, which were accompanied by sore throat, headache, the usual common kind of cold flu type of thing. But they didn't go away; they persisted, and they led to headaches. They were so bad that she'd have to lie in her room with the curtains pulled, and she would sleep for hours on end. It was like, it was like she was like a zombie. And this went on led to different things. She became very sensitive to noise and light. She slept 18 to 20 hours. She found it difficult to hold conversation. She became very listless. And this eventually ended up with her being not able to attend school on a regular basis. And in the meantime, we were passed on from consultant to consultant, but nobody could make a diagnosis.
At all?
And she developed she went on then further to develop abdominal pain, and she was so bad at times, we ended up in out of hours Weststock, and she remember one time she got 4 injections, one after another, to alleviate the pain. She then would complain.
Okay, I'm just wondering, Lee, how you can be so sure at this stage that your daughter's symptoms are linked to Gardasil.
How do you have so many simultaneous symptoms? I mean, if you had one of those symptoms, you'd be very sick. But it's not like they were all. I mean, every week it was something else. I mean, we started to think, is it in our head, or what's going on here? How can one person have some? I mean, it would go from her abdomen to her chest to her head to feeling nauseous. She started feeling of stiff neck, earaches, dizziness, and then she'd start fainting, especially when she'd have a shower. Then, the chest pain, heart palpitations, joint pain, difficulty breathing. How can one person experience all of the above? I mean, all of these. The other point I want to make is that these symptoms are all listed on the manufacturer's patient information leaflet. Now, at the school, when she got we got the material, we received the HSE patient information leaflet. They only list a couple of side effects. There is up to 25 side effects. And I have gone through every one of them, and my daughter ticks 21 of those side effects. So how can this doctor say that there is no link when the manufacturer themselves is telling you there it is in black and white?
Okay,
this information is not being given to the schools, parents.
You heard what Dr. Breslin had to say yesterday, the HSE public health specialist. It is safe. Parents need have no concerns. I suppose they're acting on the medical advice they have from the World Health Organization and other bodies. What do you want to see happen now?
Firstly, I find it very distressing that the Irish Cancer Society, whom I have fundraised many times in the past, how that they like they're a charitable organisation and they're plugging this vaccine. And this same body has received a large payment from Merck, who are the manufacturers of this vaccine, Gardasil. I mean, that's distressing in itself. And if you wouldn't mind, I have a couple of questions to ask Dr. Breslin.
Okay.
I'd like to know, if that's okay with you now.
Yeah.
I'd like to know how many more girls are the HSE allow suffer at the hands of this drug? Like, we're just an ordinary family looking for answers as to how this happened to our beautiful daughter. And if it's not the vaccine, like he says it is, then what is it? And why haven't the HSE, why haven't they investigated the girls? They haven't engaged with, there's 400 girls now and it's growing. They have not engaged with one girl to make any diagnosis. That's upsetting, first of all. And then I'd also like to know, why is it that I didn't receive the manufacturer's patient information leaflet? And the other side was very upsetting is that the principals have received letters from the HSE telling them not to give out any other information, only HSE material. Like, why is that? That is, that's worrying. I'm just so upset about this whole thing, and I just, I'd like it just that it would be withdrawn and the girls investigated. Like, we have I think Denmark, their government have now put in, I think it's €1 million to have the girls investigated, and they have set up centres, I think 5 in total, that these girls can now go to. I mean, HSE here have to just put a stop to this. This is crazy stuff.
Okay. All right. Okay, Lee, thanks for your comments this morning.
Yeah, well, the last thing I'd like to say is that I'd like to call now on Dr. Breslin, who represents the Irish Cancer Society and the HSE and the Irish government. These are the people who I trusted, and these are the people who I thought had my child's best interest at heart. And I want this vaccine to be withdrawn in the interest of health and safety of our children. They have a duty of care to my child, and I want this vaccination taken off the market.
Lee, thanks very much. A very good morning to you.
Thanks, sir.